Imagine waking up from your nice and cozy sleep one morning. After saying a little prayer, you quickly checked your phone to be updated with what is happening in the internet world. When you saw a post about the negative effects of teenage pregnancy to our society, you felt the urge to share it in high hopes of educating others. You left your phone first, proceeded to your powder room to brush your teeth and do your skincare. After that, you grabbed your phone again and is aiming to go down and enjoy your breakfast. But you were surprised that your notifications are booming, and was extremely surprised that people swarmed your shared post with negative comments, labeling you as insensitive and basher, because they are all proud to be perpetrators of teenage pregnancy. But how did they even arrive to that thinking? Why are they bombarding FB status with that weird hashtags? Hashtag normalize teenage pregnancy. Today, in Perseverance Talk channel, we're going to delve deeper about trends that people need to stop normalizing right now unless they want a messed up future. But before learning and enjoying this episode, make sure to smash that subscribe button first and ring the notification bell so you'll be updated with our latest uploads. Now, get your popcorns, milk tea, and of course, prepare your browser just in case we are stating fake information here. Just kidding. Let us begin by defining the two shining key terms here. A trend is defined by Brannon as look that has the appeal of newness, because it has been missing or scarce in the marketplace. It occurs when there is a building of awareness on this idea and its presence produces an increasing demand or need for that particular new idea among consumers. For example, your favorite milk tea and boba are already a trend in Southeast Asia, since its invention in Taiwan during 1980s. It's just that it reached its peaking popularity during 2018 here in the Philippines, as its sales ballooned up to 3,500%. Moreover, TrendSpotter, a leading firm in Canada, also defined trend as a pattern of gradual change in the condition, output, or process, or an average or general tendency of a series of data points to move in a certain direction over time. Represented by a line or curve on a graph, it can also be a general direction in which something is developing or changing. Trends can be characterized by the length of their popularity, relevance, and their cultural impact. The latter definition and characteristics are the ones that will perfectly define the trend of teenage pregnancy that our nation has been experiencing now. Meanwhile, what do we mean by the word normalize or normalizing? Normalize as a word is defined by the Merriam-Webster dictionary as a transitive verb which means to reduce to a norm, standard, or simply make it normal. Interestingly, Cambridge English Dictionary also coined this term as something that means to return generally accepted situation. When fused together, these words create such a powerful and influential phrase and societal moves that can either make or break the future of the country and even the rest of the world. And because trends are not always good morally and statistically, they can really cause trouble when fostered. And it can become worse when it is already normalized. So here are the things that can be extremely destructive if turned into normalized trends in the future.
First on our list is the perennial issue of teenage pregnancies. This is one of the demographic societal issues that the Philippines have been dealing with for the past decade. The United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA, an international development agency that works on population development, sexual and reproductive health, and gender, stated on a 2020 report that teenage pregnancy is one of the most pressing issues that the Filipino youth is facing. Its rate in the Philippines was 10% in 2008, down to 9% in 2017. Live births by teenage mothers aged 10 to 19 in 2016 totaled at 203,085, which slightly decreased to 196,478 in 2017 and 183,000 in 2018. Still, the Philippines has one of the highest adolescent birth rates among the ASEAN member states. Recent World Bank data shows that the Philippines has 47 births annually per 1,000 women, aged 15 to 19, higher than the average adolescent birth rates of 44 globally and 33.5 in the ASEAN region. This entails that more than 500 Filipino adolescent girls are getting pregnant and giving birth every day. Although the cases are probably small considering the 108 million current population of the country as of writing, it is alarming because it can still pile up and cause more trouble in the country's dwindling economic status. For majority of teen parents living on or below the poverty line, their children will just be another victims of what we call cycle of poverty. Moreover, these teens are most of the time still not ready to raise up a life since they are also still vulnerable and are still on the verge of establishing their personal stability. Normalizing and creating a trend of teenage pregnancy will create a grotesque and harmful stigma that it is okay and beneficial to get pregnant early. And when that happened, the population that we will be having for the future decades will be unproductive and incapable. Moving into the world of sociology, the second dangerous thing that can be extremely dangerous if developed into a normalized trend are bashing and cancel culture. In the 21st century, bashing is defined as attacking, mocking, and negatively criticizing someone to express dislike, dismay, and/or hate. With the insane developments in social media, bashing became a stronghold in the internet world that is very hard to address and even admonish. People can bash you because your views are different from them. It may also be because you don't pass on their standards. It can also be rooted from their envy. But sometimes, bashers are just fond of spreading hatred. They're just happy to react angry on your hashtag OOTD on FB. If bashing is crazy, cancel culture is much crazier. Cancel culture is a culture developed out of the idea and acts of boycotting or disregarding someone just because they committed a mistake in the eyes of the others. If you are hashtag cancelled, society, especially the peeps on the net, will not listen to you anymore if you have a valid explanation of things. If these two horrible ideologies develop into a normalized trend, negativity will rule over the world. Pessimism will also become a thing. Worst thing about this is that those victims of bashing and cancel culture may resort to developing mental health dilemmas and attempt to take their own lives. Scary and eerie, right? Last and definitely the most controversial and sensitive among these three is the sex work. Although it is against the Philippine law, many people are still supporting and perpetuating sex work, saying that it is just a typical ordinary job that needs to be legalized. Prostitution in the Philippines is illegal, although somewhat tolerated, with law enforcement being rare with regards to sex workers. Penalties range up to life imprisonment for those involved in trafficking, which is covered by the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2003. As expected, poverty is still the main reason why prostitution or sex work is rampantly blowing up in our country. And because internet has already reached probably every corners of our country, this sex work is also bridging out to the online world, developing into pornography. Surprisingly, there are applications that legally earns money and recruit sex workers for the benefit of the two sides. OnlyFans and the social blogging site Twitter are two of the most popular hubs out there. While the principle of body autonomy or my body, my rules are sound and valid arguments, the movements to stop normalizing sex work does not only dwell on the body's sacredness and purity. We should be advocating against sex work because it is a form of horrendous exploitation. Not only that, Sex workers are on the verge of contracting diseases caused by having multiple sexual partners. Perennial illness such as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome or AIDS and many kinds of sexually transmitted disease or STDs can excruciate them and pin them down. Moreover, it can also affect their mental health as they can arrive into thinking that their worth are being defined by means of peso bills. When it becomes a normalized trend in the future, it can possibly cause a great trouble when it comes to our healthcare stability. It can dismantle our efforts to eradicate sexually transmitted diseases.
So now, if these things, activities, and ideas should not become normalized trends, what can we do to stop them? As ironic as it may seem, we cannot combat those by developing worthy, competent, and righteous trends that are qualified to be normalized.
Instead of trend, #normalize teenage pregnancies. Let us promote #normalize comprehensive sex education and #normalize reproductive health stability. We know that sex education is already part of the DepEd curriculum, but up to this date, people still find it taboo to talk about, thinking that it is too vulgar and sensitive. We need to break this stigma in order for us to build a much more dependable advocacy regarding sex education. Knowledge is power, but sensitive and comprehensive knowledge is indeed greater. So instead of poking fun against our education, take time to observe and learn from it next time.
On the other hand, instead of supporting the #normalize bashing and cancel culture, why not hype up the #be better and #educate not hate and make it a trend? In this way, people who committed mistakes tend to have a chance to improve and be a better person that can also become inspiration. Educating them and enlightening them about what is right and just will make them feel better and will make them serve their purpose. It will also extinguish hatred and envy among us. After all, social media should bring out the best in us, not unleash the beast in us.
Finally, instead of #normalize sex work as a trend, why not use the #normalize more job opportunities? The latter trend will not only eradicate the unfortunate growth of prostitution, but will also help those precious people victimized by the system. It will also serve as a call for competence and accountability from our government officials to serve better and do better. Trends are necessary in order for us to achieve development and growth, but always remember, worthy trends are those that promote goodwill, competence, and positivity. So the next time you will comment #normalize on any post, think if it is worthy before clicking. Thank you and have a trendy life ahead.